Okay, emotion and feeling. One thing that we need to know is that when we talk about, when we learn about Buddhism, there are two ways of learning it. One which is very on the surface, you attend one-day teaching. So there, the teachers will just give you a very surface understanding. Emotions, feelings, everything will be same. Whereas when we go to more specialized teachings like this, and particularly if you do a systematic courses, then we should be very precise with everything. Feelings is not how we understand in the vernacular sense. Feelings. A feeling is very precisely feeling of the pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, and the neutral feeling. Whereas when we speak about the emotion of the mixture of many components, feeling is in the mixed. Then the affective side of the mind is mixed, affective side. And the affective side underneath the cognitive side is mixed, cognitive, affective, feeling. Everything is mixed together and manifests in the form of emotion. For example, like, say, the anger. Say, like attachment. Say, like compassion. And compassion, whether or not compassion is emotion, is a debate amongst the psychologists. They debate on this issue. So the point is that emotion has a connotation of the affective side of the mind, affective, meaning that the mind moves. For example, when I say, oh, this flower, there's a flower there. Simply by saying the flower is there, my mind may not move. When I say it's beautiful, then my mind moves. It's not beautiful, my mind is pushed. So this emotion has this quality, affective quality to the mind. So the feeling is the one which is just one component of this whole emotion, one component, meaning that there's a flower, 5 omnipresent manufacturers. Come in contact with the object, pay attention, then discrimination, yes, this is a flower, then the feeling arises, pleasant feeling arises. So in these technical studies of Buddhist psychology, feeling, they're all so well defined. Our feeling is, we should not be interpreting this the way we understand it in the vernacular sense. Feeling, pleasant feeling comes to you. Then what happens? Intention. Intention makes you beautiful. That is emotion. Beautiful. Wow. That's emotion. So it's a complex, the mental state, which is the combination of many components inside. One of which is feeling, one of which is discrimination, and the intention. Intention which moves your mind. Yeah. So we should be very precise. So therefore, in one-day teaching, we cannot touch these areas. You will say, oh, you have a feeling, that is emotion, finish. Because the moment you explain this, whole the one-day course, no. So 1 hour talk will go on just explaining that. So people will not explain this. Yeah. Any more questions? Yes?
Geshe, I want to ask you a question last.
Yeah, what is the question?
How would you rationally show that emptiness is the ultimate truth?
Okay, how is emptiness the ultimate truth? Right? Rational ultimately will come. Right? Oh, this is what the saints experience. This is not rational. Right? Ultimate, how is emptiness? Emptiness of flower, dependent origination nature of the flower. Dependent origination of the flower and the emptiness of the flower. These two are the two sides of the same coin. While these two sides of the same coin, almost like the same weight, why dependent origination of the flower is not the ultimate truth, and why the emptiness of the flower is the ultimate truth. This is the question. Okay, for that matter, what we do is, let's say that, for example, say you want to hire somebody. You want to hire somebody as let's say school principal or school headmaster, whatever. You want to hire somebody there. for that matter, you are very concerned that the students should not be affected by the bad habits of the person who we are going to appoint as the principal. So we should, how are we going to decide that person, whether the person is good or bad? Interview? One.
References.
References.
References from other.
Observing. What do you mean by observing references? Why are you doing all these things? To know the person more closely. Okay. I know the person for 1 hour, and you through references, through observing the person for the last 1 month, right? Arjuna, you observing the person for 1 month, and you look for the references, right? Okay, for 1 month, and I just meet the person for 1 hour, and Venerable is going to be the person to decide, right? And we give total opposite impression to Venerable, right? Okay, Venerable will be biased with me. Okay, let's say there are 2 persons, and the person A said that, oh, the person A met this person just for half an hour. The candidate just for 1 hour. Venerable, he's amazing. And then all Ajanaji, then the daughter, okay, daughter Andaji, and everybody says, no, he's not good. Venerable, don't select him. Right? And you know that they observed this guy for the last 1 month. And this man, Mr. A, met the other person just for half an hour. So tell me, who are you going to take more seriously? 1 month. Why?
More reliable.
Different aspects of the person as compared to half an hour.
Different aspects.
You see, over a longer period,
You know the person more closely. You know the person more closely. Whereas the person A knows the person just from a shadow, from a distance, half an hour. Half an hour, you will not know anything about the person until you have a very extremely brilliant psychology. Otherwise, you will know that person. You will not know. Okay, you know more closely. Okay, we say that. So, those who said 1 month, those who observe the person for 1 month, their observation is more ultimate, or the half an hour, the person who knows the person for half an hour, what the comment or the report given by the person, that person is more ultimate. Which is more ultimate?
1 month.
1 month is more ultimate. So ultimate has the connotation of very close. You getting it? Very close. So ultimate truth. Ultimate truth is a truth seen through very close inspection. Ultimate truth is a truth seen by very close inspection. Conventional truth is a truth seen from distance inspection. One from close, one from distance. From close one is known as ultimate. From distance is known as conventional. Dependent origination is seen from distance, not from close. Emptiness is seen from close. So therefore, emptiness is the ultimate truth. Because this is the truth which one sees from close inspection. So the mind which goes to the close inspection is known as ultimate analysis. The mind which goes for the distance analysis is known as conventional analysis. From this, any object seen by the ultimate analysis is the ultimate truth. Any object seen by the conventional analysis is known as conventional truth. So therefore, emptiness is seen by the conventional ultimate analysis, not by conventional analysis. And dependent origination is the one seen by conventional analysis and not by ultimate analysis. Okay, any more questions? Yes?
Vishnu, if a person is reborn after 49 days maximum, how is it that we can feel the presence of a person many years after they have passed? And this is not just a mental projection. This is like, if you're busy at work and you suddenly feel somebody's
Okay, so the question is, say, if after death, person stays in this Pardo state, intermediate stage, for maximum 49 days and take rebirth, how is it possible that even after years, you could feel the presence of this person? Not just like a hallucination, but something so the living. How is it possible? Number one, how real is this?
It's not objectively real.
This is not my question. How real is this? Is it there or not? It's not there. It's an illusion. It's illusion. You said no, it's really there. So you are exposed to philosophy. If somebody is not exposed to philosophy, will say this is not illusion. It's really there, right? Actually, it's just we are affected by the philosophies, certain philosophy. But our natural thinking, I don't know about you. What gade maybe paragade level, I don't know, right? For people like me, what I say, what I see is very different. What I say is illusion-like, but what I see is so real. And somebody says, no, this is illusion. No, that's not true. You're getting it? So, even what we feel is so real can be deceptive. Our perceptions can be very deceptive. Keep this in mind. Our perceptions can be very real, which you feel, no, this is so real, this is true. I could really feel that. Even that can be deceptive. Don't trust it. Number one. Number two. Amongst these experiences, if you ask me, are they all deceptive? I personally would say that they are not all deceptive. Out of 100, 2 are true. 2 or 3, they can be correct. Otherwise, the remaining 97, they are deceptive. Yet, the deception are seen as so real, so alive. One time what happened was that I was in the Institute of Buddhist Dialectics. It was my, I think, 3rd year or 4th year. And after the debate, we were going around the main temple, the main temple in Maklutganj, His Holiness close to His Holiness residence. And it was a little raining. And they are walking, me and one of my senior, one of the senior students, were 2 years senior to me. We were 2 of us working together. And he's a little humorous, humorous. So what happened was that we are studying about psychology, deceptive mind, valid cognition, we are learning all these things. And debating all on this. And suddenly I saw that there was, I thought that there was some worm. In the summer, at one point, there was some worms, like little insect, they come. And then it was a little raining, and I went to pick that up. And I went to pick that up, I realized that it was not an actual worm, it was a stick, a tiny stick. And he said, look, this is the deceptive mind. He said, look, you have a deceptive mind, look. Okay, so like this, which I said is so real, I shouldn't step on this, I should protect, save this life. I picked it up, this is a stick. So I thought it's so real. What I'm saying is, out of 100 experiences people share, so genuinely share the experience, out of this what I can say is 97% they are deceptive. They don't cheat on you, but they are deceived by this. It is seen as so real. But are they all deceptive? I would say no. There are 2 or 3 out of 100. 2 or 3 can be real. Then how do you explain this question? How do you explain this? So there, where the beings take birth, say, if out of 100 experiences, 2 or 3 which are valid meaning there are real beings there who come there, they take birth. They take birth in the not formless in that refined. In that refined, this person, during the lifetime we can see that. During lifetime, if the person is not really meditating, which means this person cannot take birth there. To take birth, they are formless in that sense. But formless in a very loose sense, formless, there are some some beings like Gandharvas. Gandharvas, they are the set of realms. Realms who belong to the category of the spirit. And they can come. They can come because of karmic condition, you can feel that. And then your relative who passed away might have taken birth as Gandharvas, we never know. It can be that, one. And number two, oftentimes, even if it is true that you feel somebody, but that somebody may not be the person who died. It could be someone who's very closely karmically connected with the person who died and coming close to you. This is what Geshe Lharampa, the great saint who became enlightened in a single lifetime, he once said that. So once there was one gentleman who said that, who brought a case to Geshe Lharampa. The mother relative, he passed away, now he has taken birth as a ghost and he's always haunting us. Then Geshe Lharampa said that haunting us and coming in the, say, what do you call it, say somebody, living person, that person can possess. And this person go into trance and speak like the original person, the person who died. Geshe Lharampa said, no, that's not true. That person, that is your relative who passed away, that person has spirits who always accompany that person. All of us, there are spirits who accompany us through karmic connection. Because they know exactly what you're doing usually. So the manner, how they behave, is very much like how you behave. So Geshe Lharampa said that is not that person, it's not your relative. It's the spirit associated with this relative, coming in the guise of your relative. Then if you don't believe, when I was giving empowerment, I have given a special name related to the ceremony, to this, to your relative who passed away. So ask the spirit, so what is do you remember the empowerment given by me? And do you remember what's the name given by me? So during the empowerment, what they do is that before the empowerment is given, you just dispel all the spirits to make sure that they don't hinder, they don't cause obstacles to the empowerment. All spirits are removed. So even though the spirit is always with the relative, always, but during that empowerment he was kicked out. So he doesn't know what name was given by Geshe Lharampa to him. So they asked the name of the religious name given to the person. The spirit cannot say that. So Geshe Lharampa said that this is not the real person, this is spirit accompanying that. So even amongst, out of the 3 out of 100 people who could have these feelings, 3 can be correct. But that correct may not be the real person, it could be the spirit accompanying that. Yep. Yes? Okay. I suggest you to remember the dreams.
The process of
The process of dreaming. How many of you observed that?
No.
Okay. And what was the process like? You observed it and then
It becomes
dead,
dark and then
finish.
In my case, it was first, I didn't have to think circles, and it was like blue, it was like kaleidoscope. You turn that thing, it changes. And then it was slightly pink, I'm not sure it was pink or I was imagining it's going to be. Sort of face appeared, but I didn't talk to you or think to you. But a sort of face appeared, but it didn't speak to me like you said.
Then?
And then it became dark. But I think the sort of face I thought was my retina. That's a problem of me. I thought it was my retina shadow that was coming. So
Okay.
and I woke up and I couldn't sleep after that.
If there is a retina, which means that the sleep is not the sleep.
I thought it was.
Okay, we are not too sure. Yes. Okay, anybody else?
Ravi, I think.
Ravi? Yes?
Yeah, I was analyzing it.
Oh.
And it was like First, if you're doing analyzing it,
Okay, never analyze. If you analyze, you will never fall asleep. Observe.
Yeah, observing. So
Just observe. Don't analyze.
I was
Huh?
not getting a sleep.
Oh, yeah, that's
Then
true.
finally, I thought that I will not observe, I will not analyze. Then, it's a kind of very different kind of experience, which is unexplainable. And there is something like, the slowly how, slowly you start losing your consciousness. Means like the awareness consciousness, there is something that mildly there.
No, so when you are not losing consciousness because you are aware that your consciousness is losing because you are aware.
The sense
I'm joking.
awareness starts coming.
Okay, yes.
And there's something that happens that, some thoughts of yours are there. Then you start that there are some thoughts there, and suddenly when you sleep, but you're not sleeping, then those thoughts slightly work on you. Very mildly they work. Then after like that, then suddenly you see that after 3 hours that you are in a dream. After 2 hours or something, you get into sleep after that. You lose sleep, then again this happens, and then once you get to sleep, then after that it's an adventure kind of a dream. And adventure in which I was moving from here there.
No, are you aware that you was dream?
I was not aware.
Okay, then finish.
I was not aware at all.
That's the meaning of the being sucked in the dream. Finish. I was asking the procedure, right?
Yeah.
Till you sucked up. The moment you sucked up, don't share that. That all you
I was
know.
gone, that's it.
Yes, anybody else? Yes, here.
Once I close my eyes, it's dark. But I can feel there is slightly vibration in my body.
Vibration.
Very lightly.
Ah.
So then when I feel that vibrations, I felt myself, oh now I'm going to fall in deep sleep.
Oh.
Later I don't know what
Finish.
happening outside. So
Finish.
Sucked
up. It is still finished. Arjunji?
Sometimes, occasionally, I'm aware that
No, sometimes. The last 2 days.
No, I
Last 2 days. Anybody? Mandula? Jack?
Tried to observe, it was white, and then I said, I'm going to sleep.
Okay, Manjuji?
nothing, it's just black and I went to sleep.
Okay. Abanji?
I go to sleep very quick.
Okay. Okay. There. Oh, Sandeepji?
So I very often, and last 2 days as well, when I try to observe, I saw these sort of circles, either closing in or going out.
Yes.
And circles becoming smaller, becoming larger. I sometimes see that also when I'm meditating. When I'm meditating and it happens to me, I don't know, I feel it's a good thing because I feel it brings in some stillness from thoughts. But after that, these circles, and they're like nice circles, and sometimes it's black, sometimes it's white. Sometimes even I feel it's a retina, closing and opening, something like that. But after that, I just sort of lost.
Okay. Then,
Yeah. I don't remember anything.
okay. Richard? Huh?
I did nothing.
I didn't observe the dream. She did not observe.
No, I did not ask you to observe the dream. I asked you to see the process of the dream.
Process of dream, starting and ending of the dream, I didn't remember. But middle of the dream, how the dream is coming or how the dream is ending. But middle of the dream is like not a clear picture, like foggy type, some words in dialogues in dream are sometimes clearly I can hear, sometimes I can't hear. Like,
Okay, actually, okay, Mandula.
I tried to observe, but it went black.
Okay, anybody here? No, Venerable.
I know that my mind is down, so it won't be possible for me to see it.
No, we must keep observing it. This is very important.
But I think it won't happen to me.
No, it doesn't
my
matter.
mind is very dancing.
No, I don't agree with you.
I can try.
Just try it. Just try it. Keep observing it. Keep observing it, right? Keep observing it. No, just try it. Try it. Radhana is saying that I did not try because my mind is dull. It is the biggest excuse. Okay, anybody else who did not explain? Okay, we all. Okay, I tried, and then at one point suddenly sucked up into the dream, lost, and again woken up, very lightly woken up, and again I was observant. Okay, I must watch what is happening. So the second phase. The first phase suddenly, I was just observing the clarity, all these things happening, same. And even gradually, even these round things are happening, going out, small, become bigger, going out, all these things happened. And then suddenly, the dream finished. And then again, came out, because of a very strong wish that I should observe it. Again came out, I should observe, again observing it, and then these figures became so clear. Then it's very strange, the face figures are coming out. They are not talking. I think the same thing, right? The same dream is coming, not talking. Okay, same computer system, not talking. And just observe it. That is so clear, much clearer than what my eyes could see now. And sometimes I was just observing, whether it is my eyes seeing or my eyes seeing or the mental consciousness seeing it. It's so clear. So deliberately, sometimes I used to cover my eyes. And if the vision is same, which means it is my mental consciousness seeing it. Deliberately, I try to cover my eyes without disturbing it. If I do so forcefully, then this will be disrupted. So very gradually, I try to cover my eyes, and the same vision is not at all disturbed, which means it's purely mental consciousness. So mental consciousness can see things much clearer than what your eyes can see. Yeah. Oh, you go.
Do you remember your dream after woke up?
No, this is not the dream. It's the formation of the dream. Formation of the dream. Then subtle dream finish. I can remember what was dream, but then in the dream I could not identify that I'm dreaming. Whereas this process, when the face starts to come, it's so clear, so clear. That is, I'm so aware that this is just now, the dream is coming to my mind. Very clear. Yes, Raviji? Raviji, yes.
Most of the dreams which I was aware that it was only after 3 hours of after I slept.
Say it again?
It was 3 hours
yes.
after I slept. It's only then that I realized that there was a dream. Is it possible that before that I would have dreamt, but I wouldn't have remembered?
That's also possible. Some dreams we cannot remember. You know that I dreamt something, what is that? You don't remember the contents of the dream. It's very possible.
And how soon that people can start dreaming immediately in this situation?
Just ask Abanji, instant. Abanji, instant, right? Fall asleep, instant. Yeah. And some people just instant you will have a dream. Yeah. Okay, Smitaji.
I had a question.
Yes.
If I'm seeing a recurring dream again and again, of a place that I've never been to, is it just a figment of imagination or?
There are two. 1 out of 100, 2 or 3 can be very efficacious. Can be what do you call it, prophetic. 2 or 3 out of 100 of such incidents can be prophetic. Something related to your future or something related to your past. Out of 100, 3 or 4 can be prophetic. Otherwise, say it can be because, of course, all these dreams are because of this some imprints of this life or the past lives. That is for sure. And some can be prophetic. Prophetic meaning that the places related to your past lives, this is related to your future lives. Yeah. Any more questions?
In the sutra, I wanted to ask you whether this everywhere you have this karma does not think I function as a field for the seed of consciousness, not as creating thing. I moisten the seed of consciousness. So everywhere there is this recurring theme that
Yes.
says this one does not think like this. Is there any specific reason why?
Of course.
This is
We always agent. The question is, in this sutra, Sarasama Sutra, there's always the mention of the 12 things. Ignorance doesn't think that I produce the formation. Formation doesn't think that I produce the consciousness. And formation doesn't think that I was produced by the ignorance. Right? This is coming so often. Is there a reason? Yes, there's a reason. It is to remove our sense of seeing something as an agent which controls everything. Right? Whereas, on the contrary, everything is operating on the basis of the dependent origination. There's nothing there, really, there's one agent which decides everything. Yeah. Okay.
Ask us to do this exercise, Mr.
Which one?
Dream exercise.
Because in the text it says everything is like a dream. So for that, we should know how dream occurs. Once you're sucked in the dream, how we see the dream is so real, not as a dream. So this is exactly what is happening now. Our mind projects, then what? We are unaware. You're getting it? Our mind projects. Number 2, we are unaware. Then number 3, because we are unaware, then the object, what are projected is seen as not projected as object real. Then what happens? It affects us. Then what happens? We react. This is how it all happens. Exactly this is what happens in the dream.
If we can see in our dreams what is to happen in future lives, and you said that our future life is dependent on the last moment
of the becoming.
Yeah.
Yes. Certainly.
So then that is a cause and condition.
Yes.
How do we know now what's going to be the cause and condition?
Okay. Say it's 5:12.
Attachment and grasping.
Yes, it's 5:12 now. It's 5:12 now. At 7, we will not be here.
You don't know that.
No, that's for sure. At 7, we will not be here. Guaranteed we will not be here. We will somewhere else. Whether in the hospital, not for sure, not in the cremation ground, or in Shivam home, or in the respective house. Most likely I will be in Shivam home by 7 o'clock, because I have some appointments. Most likely, but for sure I will not be here. So there, in case, if nothing really intersects for going in the car, suddenly accident, if nothing of these things happen, then I'll be in Shivam home by that time, 7. Right? So, but that Shivam home, to reach the Shivam home, guest house, is because of the car going, by dependence on the car going there. And the car, it depends on the car driver. It depends on the Uber or whatever, on the mobile. It depends so many factors that what I can see, the future. What I can see is the future. Even that is happening because it depends on so many factors. It's not that I decide, okay, I'll be in Shiva home, no factors should interrupt. No. With the interruption of all these factors, from this I can see that I'll be in Shiva home. It doesn't mean that when you could see the future, doesn't mean that it is independently, the agent is creating it. It's dependence on, so there's no contradiction between the two things. That you can predict the future, at the same time the future is happening because of the dependence on many other factors. There's no contradiction. It is also, even the prediction of the future is also happening because of the dependent origination. There is no contradiction.
So you know already what is going to happen?
Guaranteed. I will at 7.
No, that is because you made a plan. This is you made a practical plan. 2 hours from now I'm going to be here.
Which means you want to say that I have clairvoyance?
No.
Is it one?
Today you've made a plan.
Not this one. Anything else? You said, do you know something? You said it.
No, in a dream. In a dream, if you are dreaming about a future, you're dreaming about a future life, then you either have clairvoyance or
Karmic.
it's a meaningless thing.
Karmic. No, there are 3 things. Either clairvoyance, or meaningless, or through karmic imprints, activation, not necessarily clairvoyance. Even without clairvoyance, you can see your future lives in the dreams. It's very possible. Even without clairvoyance. But to see that, okay, say, I dreamt of myself being, 80 years old, 90 years old, that prophetic, not prophetic, out of 100 people dreaming the same thing, on maximum 2 or 3 is prophetic. The others are just dream. Some people, generally speaking, some people who are meditating, particularly meditating on the single point of meditation, where the mind has become very subtle. So these people, when they dream something, they can be more prophetic. Okay, any questions? Yes, Arjun?
Here, there is one statement about the 4 links which serve as a cause for assembling the 12 dependent processes.
Yes.
What do they mean by assembling?
Where is it?
There are 4 links that serve as a cause for page 72.
Page 72. Yes. Which stanza? Which paragraph?
The second one.
Second one.
Last 3 lines.
Last 3 lines of the second one. Okay. Nevertheless, there are 4 links that serve as a cause for assembling this 12-fold dependent arising. Which 4? Namely, ignorance, craving, karma, and consciousness. So, what's the question?
So, what is meant by
Assembling. Assembling means coming together. Coming together not at one time. Not at one time. For example, let's say, in the company, day shift, night shift, in the hospitals, day shift, night shift. Because of the day shift, night shift, we are operating 24 hours. Day shift person never meets a night shift person. They are cause effect. But total, we say that we operate 24 hours. This hospital runs 24 hours.
So these 4 will trigger new sufferings?
Of course, yes.
That's what it means.
Yes. These 4 coming together can complete, so the 12 links will become complete. There's in fact overlapping. The 12 links, they should complete. One cycle should be completed. Among these factors, some can trigger the next cycle. So, first cycle, second cycle, first cycle, one cycle which is operating now. And innumerable millions of cycles can overlap. For example, let's say, right now, what we're going through is what? We're going through which 12 links? Huh?
1, 2, 3,
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
7.
Say something, 1, 2, 3, something.
Right.
12? Yes, 12 years, aging and death. We're going to aging and death. What else?
7.
7, feeling. Then what else?
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Or yes, no. 1, 2, 3, which are we going through now. For example, say, if I become very angry, or we have a very profound, say, the faith, or very profound admiration in the sutra, very profound admiration. Wow, it's amazing, dependent, everything just dependently originated. There's nothing there as an independent entity controlling everything. It's just dependently originating. It's amazing, very profound admiration or profound understanding, and because of which the profound conviction comes to this reality. So there you are accumulating extremely powerful positive karma. So this karma is being accumulated while we are going through another cycle. And the cycle of the feeling. Feeling, whose feeling, which cycle is that? Which link is that? 7. 7 means 1, 2, 3 gone. 1, 2, 3 when? 1, 2, 3 of the feeling which I am going through now, which we are going through now. 1, 2, 3, when did this happen? When did they happen? Past lives, one of the past lives. You're getting it? So this cycle is going on now. And aging or death, 12, is also operating now the same cycle as this feeling. But 1, 2, 3 which is going on now, this is a new cycle. It's not the cycle as a part of the number 6. Number 7. You're getting it? Now this number 7 feeling, well, while I'm going through this feeling, this mind, the feeling is the main. Mental factor of the feeling is the main, alongside all the other mental factors, along with the consciousness that falls under the link 7. So this consciousness is also the number 3 of the new cycle. So number 3 of the new cycle and the number 7 of the cycle which is going on, these two overlapping. The same consciousness that I have has 2 labels, 2 isolates. One as the number 3 of the new cycle, one number 7 and number 2 of the old cycle. These two are overlapping. You're getting the same consciousness. It's the overlap of the 2 things.
Krishna, when you say this is a flower, is that conventional truth, or is it the merely imputed, merely imputed flower, is that the conventional truth? And a similar question, according to what I understand, is do sentient beings see conventional truth, or only the Buddha sees conventional truth?
Okay, 2 things. The flower. Yeah. This is flower. Which one? This is the flower or the flower?
Flower.
The flower, of course, is the conventional truth, because flower is seen by the conventional analysis, not by the ultimate analysis. With the ultimate analysis, the flower will disappear. So the flower is seen only by the analysis, which is other than the ultimate analysis. What is that analysis? Conventional analysis. What is seen by the conventional analysis is the conventional truth. The next question is?
There's only the Buddha.
Okay, the conventional truth. So the flower, you see the flower. The flower is conventional truth. When you see the flower, are you seeing the conventional truth?
Yes.
Are you seeing the conventional truth?
Yes.
Why are you, what makes you think that you are seeing the conventional truth?
You're doing conventional analysis. You're doing conventional analysis.
Okay, you are seeing the conventional analysis of conventional truth or the conventional analysis of the flower? Not the conventional analysis of conventional truth, right? Not the conventional truth. So what makes you think that you are seeing the conventional truth? You are seeing the flower. Because this analysis is not the conventional analysis of the conventional truth. It's the conventional analysis of the flower. You are not analyzing the conventional truth, right? You're just looking at the flower. Right? Okay. Conventional truth. Although this is okay, you think that I'm seeing the flower and the flower is conventional truth, therefore I'm seeing the conventional truth. You may think like this. The flower is empty of objective existence. You are seeing the flower is empty of objective existence, therefore you are seeing the empty of objective existence. Are you seeing the empty of objective existence? Huh? Are you seeing the flower?
Yes.
Yes, the flower is empty of objective existence? Yes, the flower is empty of objective existence. So you should be seeing the emptiness of objective existence of the flower.
The transitivity doesn't always apply.
Okay, so the point is, this flower has many characteristics. This flower being a conventional truth is a characteristic. This flower being impermanent is also a characteristic. This flower being empty of objective existence is also a characteristic. This flower not being a chocolate is also a characteristic. It has innumerable characteristics. And this flower being solid is also a characteristic. So when you see this flower, you see this as solid. But some characteristics are very hidden. We cannot see that. So that this flower being conventional truth is not what we can see. We can see this flower of conventional truth only if you realize emptiness. You realize emptiness, you look at it, you see that it is just dependently coming into being. That it is illusion-like. When you see this like illusion-like, then you are seeing the flower to be conventional truth.
I thought that if you need to call it flower,
Yes.
then an Arya being looking at it,
Yes.
someone who's having experience of emptiness, for that being, only if you call it an object, and then the Arya being recognizes as a flower,
Yes.
that becomes a conventional truth for seeing the conventional truth for the Arya being who was realized emptiness.
Okay, total understanding. How you are doing is like a graph. I can see that this is your medical thing, like this. Okay, I couldn't follow what you're saying. Say it again.
So, if you minute you identify it as a flower.
Okay, let's say I pick up the flower, then
call it a flower.
okay, you call it flower.
Yes, then suppose it's an Arya, so you are an Arya.
Okay, let's say the Arya Nagarjuna.
Yeah, and they look at the flower.
Okay, he looks at it.
Yes, and then it's not a conventional truth for that, for the Arya.
He sees the conventional truth of the flower. We cannot see this conventional truth of the flower.
Yeah, but I thought that it had to be first just identified as an object, and then someone seeing the object identifies it as a flower.
Yes.
Calls it a flower, then it becomes the conventional. That's what I thought. I'll have to read this up. For some reason I'm confused. So we've done that in how the Buddha sees now the Arya will see. So I thought in that we had said that only if it's called an object without a
Label.
defined label first, then that Arya will has a chance to say, oh, it's a flower, it's a convention.
That's true, yeah. Yeah. The object is there, a bunch of flower, a bunch of atoms is there, and then the conventional people, they say, oh, this is a flower there, then it becomes a flower, right? Then the Arya Nagarjuna or somebody who sees this directly comes, and you said, okay, this is how these people call this flower. Yeah. Okay, any more questions? Okay, then we'll stop here. We will turn to page 261. Song of Immortality. Pray for the long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Let us pray for the long life of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Okay. So dedication now. Dedication. The great Indian the Tibetan masters, they emphasize on the need for the two things, one in the beginning of the virtues, one at the end of the virtue. The beginning is setting a proper motivation, which decides where your virtue is going to be, whether it's going to be fruitioning, whether it's going to be fruitioning very positively or in the meaningless way. The motivation decides, and whether the virtue that you've committed, whether they're going to be destroyed or whether they're going to be sustained for long, is determined by the dedication, the end activity. So now we're coming to the end of this retreat, and let us dedicate the virtues properly. So let us dedicate the merits that's gathered, that His Holiness the Dalai Lama, a true source of joy and happiness on this earth, that he lives long and that his wishes be fulfilled spontaneously. And let us also dedicate merits that's gathered, that all these great learnings, seed of learning of the Buddha's message of compassion, wisdom and emptiness, like Gandham, Sera, Drepung, and all the big monastic, academic monastic institutions of Sakya, Kagyu, Yuma, Gilu, all these monastic institutions in China, in Tibet, in the Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Sri Lanka, India, wherever in the world these centers are there, may the activities of study, reflection, and meditation of the Bodhicaryavatara and Bodhicaryavatara thrive forevermore. And let us also dedicate merits that's gathered, that the teaching on the wisdom of emptiness and the teaching of Bodhicitta throughout the minds of all Tibetan sentient beings. And I personally dedicated merits thus gathered, that each one of you, through concerted effort, be able to soon see the dawn of the wisdom of emptiness and Buddhism within yourself, and that you, each one of you, become such a reliable guide to lead all Tibetan sentient beings towards ultimate happiness, which is fearlessness and the infinite happiness of Buddhahood. Okay, with that in mind, let's turn to page 261. Om Swasti, to the assembly of most kind teachers, both present and past, the miraculous dance of the body, speech, and mind of innumerable Buddhas, manifesting in accord with their spiritual capacities, which granting you the source of all virtues and goodness, to you we offer our praise with fervent devotion, that tenzing Gyatso, protect the land of stones, live for 100 aeons. Shower on him your blessings, so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. To the assembly of all meditation prayers, manifesting as countless mandalas and divinities, the magical flowers of immaculate transcendent wisdom, reaching to the farthest expanse of the space ultimate reality. To you we offer our prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protect the land of snows, live for 100 aeons. Shower on him your blessings, so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. To all the victorious Buddhas of the three times, endowed with the 10 powers and who are even masters of the gods, and whose attributes of perfection are the source of all compassionate deeds, benefit in the vast ocean like realm of sentient beings. To you we offer our prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protect the land of snows, live for 100 aeons, shower on him your blessings, so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. To the assembly of seven doctrine embodied in the three vehicles, supremely serene, a jewel treasure enlightenment, stainless, unchanging, eternally good, and the glory of all virtues, which actually liberates beings from the suffering of the three worlds. To you we offer our prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protect the land of snows, live for 100 aeons, shower on him your blessings, so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. To all members of the enlightening noble spiritual community, who never stray from the highway to great benefits, who possesses the light and sees the profound truth, and the highest all machinations of cyclic existence. To you we offer a prayer with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the land of snows, live for 100 aeons. Shower on him your blessings, so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. To the assembly of heroes and Deications, heavenly beings of three worlds, who appear in the highest paradises in the seven places and the cremation grounds, and who through the creative play in the 100-fold experiences of this and emptiness, support practitioners in the meditation on excellent power. To you we offer our prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protect the land of snows, live for 100 aeons. Shower on him your blessings, so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. To the ocean of protection, the powerful guardians and upholders of the teaching, who wear inseparably among their married locks, the knots symbolizing their pledge to the Vajradhara. To you we offer our prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protect the land of snows, live for 100 aeons. Shower on him your blessings, so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. As to this congregation of excellent and receiving refuge, we pray that by the power of this prayer, expressed from a heart filled with the fervent devotion and humility, may the body, speech, and mind of the soul and the land of snows, the supreme power of Tenzin Gyatso, be indestructible, fluctuating, and unceasing. May he live immutable for 100 aeons, seated on a diamond throne, transcending decay and destruction. You are the jeweled heart embodying all compassionate, beneficial deeds. O most courageous one, you carry on your own shoulders the burden of all the Buddhas of the infinite realms. May all your noble aspirations be fulfilled as intended. By virtue of this, may the heavenly doors of the fortunate era open eternally as a source of relief and respite for all beings, and may the auspicious sign reach the apex of existence and release, as the seven teachings flourish through all times and in all realms. May the nectar stream of the blessings of the lotus holder always enter hearts and nourish them with strength. May we please you with offerings of dedicated practice, and may we reach beyond the shores of perfect compassionate deeds, through the blessings of the wondrous Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, by the infallible truth of the laws of dependent origination, and by the purity of our fervent aspirations, may the aims of our prayer be fulfilled without hindrance. Okay, let's turn to the end of the prayer. Page 288. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful chants say Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Just as the Rick Manjushri and some of the Bhadra too realize things as they are. Also, I dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these rules of virtue to the dedicated praise as the best by the Buddhas who appeared in the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deeds. May the Supreme Bodhicitta that has never risen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish but increase forevermore. As long as space remains, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I truly remain to discover the views of the world. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I could attain to the state of Guru Buddha, and lead all beings without exception into their enlightened state. Of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 3 times, and with the upholding of the Dharma of the teaching realization. And all life through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 gifts of Mahana vehicle, and accomplish all the stations of path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfecting the 2 stages. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha until I reach the enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generally demand full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. I go for refuge to the Choe Chen, I confess negativities individually, I rejoice in the versions of all the beings, I hold the versions to the heart. By the power of practicing the supplicating youth, may all be free from sickness, poverty, and conflicts, and may Dharma and the auspicious proliferate in all places where we abide. The power of union, emptiness, and compassion is explained by the Protector of both the Dharma and the Wisdom Snow them. With the lotus soul with Tenzin Gyatso, we are supplicating that new wishes are fulfilled spontaneously. May the operation of evil thoughts and deeds or the negative forces of the humans and non-humans who have managed to perverted prayers against the teachings of the Buddhas be told to man-based truth about the truth of 3 jewels. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, I enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stations of the paths and could attain the state of Vajradhara. Throughout my future lifetimes, may always be guided by the Manjushri and be able to uphold the Dharma in general and the teachings of the dependent origination in particular, even in the personal life. Okay, now we will do a quick sealing. The sealing of the virtues. Sealing of the virtues means the virtue that we accumulated over the last 5 days of the studying, reflecting, meditating, group discussion, and so forth. These virtues, so that make sure that these virtues are not destroyed, we seal them with the meditation and emptiness. Okay, so we quickly meditate on emptiness. You can see the properly. With 5 points. Reinforce the visualization of all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. They are so happy about what we did the last 5 days. And visualize also your 2 parents, all our family members, including children, and all sentient beings, everyone living on the side. And you are there to inspire all these sentient beings to embrace the teaching of bodhicitta, to embrace the teaching of the wisdom of emptiness, so that each one of them experience the fearlessness, total fearlessness, and the infinite happiness. Okay, the 5 points. The self. Just observe what the self, what you are doing, the self. Now see the self in the light of the 6 elements. Element earth, water, four liters of the blood in the body, water and water. Element fire, 2,500 joules of energy. Element fire. Element air, 4.6 liters of gas or air which fills our body. Element space, 99.999% of our body in space. Element of consciousness. Just observe these 6 elements. 2 questions. What are you seeing? I'm seeing 6 elements. Second question. Where is this person? who appear to be so objectively, so solidified there. Where is this person? It's not there. This is not body-mind is reifying. This is not body-mind is exaggerating. You're discovering the reality that this person is not really there as you go closer to this object. That this person is not there. Still this experience, which is one before, the space like emptiness. This person, like the space, nothing is to be identified as a solid object there in the space. Nothing is to be identified as a self here. The self disappears like a space. Stay in this experience for a while. Okay, slowly come out of this practice, come out into this illusion like emptiness. Now, the illusion like the appearance of the self come to you. It's just appearance without the objective vibration of the self, realizing that the objective self is not there, just appearance is left. This is where all the conventional phenomena operates. This is the illusion like emptiness. Aren't you good?